Hey family, what's happening? Let me apologize. I'm late. I'm about 5 minutes late. There were some technical difficulties, but I'm here. And it is time for the life of an entrepreneur. So tell your friends, those who came in at 10 o'clock and wondered, hey, where is he at? Let them know that that I am here and we're ready to go. Please share this with those in your network because we want everybody to be a part of this experience today. It's Tuesday, so that means it's time for another episode of The Life of an Entrepreneur. I am your host, Oliver Marcel, and we have a phenomenal guest today that is going to be joining us. Listen, as always, you know that this is a journey and we're in this journey together. So make sure that you are grabbing your friends, grabbing your neighbors, grabbing your network, and letting them know that it is time for the life of an entrepreneur. All right. So we got a great guest. Since I was late, I'm not going to do a whole lot of talking. Let's get into it. Let's go. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. It is the life of an entrepreneur. I am your host, Oliver Marcel, author, speaker, and coach in the relationship building and men's empowerment spaces. It is my goal to do what's on my t shirt. I say this every week. My t shirt says 2020 before hindsight. It is my goal to help someone get some level of clarity on the front end. There's so many things that I learned on the back end in hindsight, mistakes that I made, things that I tripped over, all kinds of things that cause the trajectory of my life to be thrown off. And now I'm in a place where I can provide guidance and support and transformation to those individuals who want to bypass some of the things that may throw off the trajectory of their lives. So that's what I'm all about. Listen, David Hunt was in here super early. David Hunt said, I'm looking forward to this. He was here before the show even started. Sarah Mills is in the house. She said, we are ready. Christiana is in the house here to support you. Thank you so much for that. Kay is in the house. Oliver, we are in this together. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And Kay, Sarah shouting out Kay, indeed. And my guy Juan Lee is here with us today. So listen, we have a great guest by the name of Rajeev Gupta. Listen, again, with most of my guests, with all of my guests up until this point, I let them introduce themselves. This guy is such a wealth of knowledge in so many different industries. And you're going to get to hear some of what he has to say today in just a few minutes. Thank you so much for those of you who are here. Georgia, I hope I said that correctly. If I didn't, please forgive me. Experience is a wonderful thing indeed. So listen, real quick, I always share just something very briefly with you, the viewer, as it relates to entrepreneurship and this journey that we're on, right? It's so important that we are, that we realize that we're not on this journey by ourselves. And you don't have to be on this journey by yourself. If you're thinking about entrepreneurship, if you're already in the throes of entrepreneurship, you don't have to be on this journey by yourselves. And the beauty of this experience, the life of an entrepreneur, is that it is sponsored by a group of individuals that their whole goal in life is to help you get from ordinary to extraordinary. And it's sponsored by Love Entrepreneurs, which is a business fellowship that helps ordinary people build extraordinary businesses. And if you are looking for a fellowship of individuals to be a part of that will pour into you, that will also give you a platform so that you can share your expertise and your learning, Love Entrepreneurs is the space for you. Now, there is something that they do called the Big Fix. We're going to talk about the Big Fix a little bit later on in this program after we talk to Rajeev for a little bit. But make sure that you check out Love Entrepreneurs. Love Entrepreneurs is a business fellowship that helps ordinary people build extraordinary businesses. I am a part of it, and it is a phenomenal experience. And you want to get around folk who are on the journey with you in this life of an entrepreneur. So, very quickly, let me share a few things with you. Let me catch up on some of these comments. We got Gunther in the house. Thank you, Gunther, for being here. Gunther says, "Hi, everybody. Great to be here." Thank you for being here, Gunther. Sarah, amazing to have the incredible Rajeev. Yes, let me tell you something. He is incredible. And Elegant Gig said, "I made it. What's up, family? Thank you for making. I appreciate you being here and being a part of this experience." So, listen, really quickly before I bring on Rajeev, there are a couple of things that I want to share with you that I think that you should remember. One of those things is this: find a mentor. And this is for not just for entrepreneurs. This is for everybody in life. Find a mentor. Find somebody who, and I'm gonna put it the way that I put it. Shameless plug. I wrote a book entitled "Overcoming the Man Laws" for the man who wants to be his best despite what he was taught. And this thing that I share with men is something that you can actually share with everyone. And it is simply this: you need to shadow your future. Part of the success that you are seeking is wrapped up in your ability to shadow your future. What do I mean by that? You need to get around some individuals who are further down the road on this journey than you are. Individuals that are traveling the same road that you are. Let me give you a very practical example. Let's say I am traveling from Maryland, which is where I live, to Florida. I would typically take I-95 because that's a straight shot down. Now, let's say I leave at 5 in the morning. You decide that you're going to leave to take the same trip at 9 a.m., which is 4 hours later than I am. That means I'm 4 hours down the road ahead of you. Now, a good, kind individual, knowing that you're on that journey, would reach back to you and say, "Hey, listen, when I got deep into Virginia, there was this huge accident. So be prepared to detour." Now you know that when you get a couple hours down the road, there's going to be something that you have to prepare for. We should be doing that for each other. So find a mentor, find somebody who is going to be able to give you the guidance that you need, show you the pitfalls that you can avoid, and be willing to pour into you during the process, right? So find yourself a mentor. The other thing is prepare to make sacrifices. Prepare to make sacrifices. And I know that's a tough one, but everybody who's in the entrepreneur space knows that there is a sacrifice or two that they're going to have to make. Everything from maybe eating out less, so you can't go to the restaurant as much. Everything from those type of sacrifices and all the way up the scale, right? So be prepared to make sacrifices. Very few of us get into this entrepreneurship journey and it just is like a rocket ship and it takes off without any sacrifices. So be prepared to take sacrifices. And the last thing I would say is be persistent and trust yourself. Now, can I be transparent? That's sometimes tough for me to trust myself. There are certain things that happen in the entrepreneurial journey that kind of shake you and make you question some things like, did I make the right choice? Am I doing the right thing? Am I in the right place? Listen, that's okay. That's okay. Be persistent. Get around some folk who are doing some things like what you are trying to do so that you realize, one, you're not in this thing alone, and two, you have some folk around you who can help you go from ordinary to extraordinary. All right. So I'm not going to say too much more. We got some great folk that are in the comments. Kay says, "Love entrepreneurs. Ours great. I love the big fix." We're going to talk about the big fix in just a little while. Georgia says, "Love the essence of Love Entrepreneurs. I will be looking out for the link." Indeed, I will share that with you. Make sure you connect with me. Georgia, if you're not connected with me on LinkedIn, please connect with me. I would love to connect with you and have a conversation. And yes, I will throw that up for Love Entrepreneurs in just a minute. My guy, nephew, Chris Lyons is in the house. Listen, Chris Lyons, let me shout out Chris real quick. There's so many great entrepreneurs here. Kay is in the house. Sarah Mills is in the house. Georgia is here. Juan is here. Listen, these are great folk that you should be networking with. These folk that are in the comments, don't take lightly the names that you see in the comments. These are folk you want to know. You want to know them. So make sure that you're connecting with these folks as well. Yes, learn from those who know more than you, without a doubt. Sarah says, "Give up some things for a short time so you can have what you really want for a long time. I love it. I love it. I love it. And Georgia said true, and you just connected. Absolutely. I will be looking out for that, and we will get together. All right, listen, with no further ado, we got a great person in this space today. Shout out to Gregory Bain, who's in the house. My guy Gregory Bain, moving towards that part of the group. Greg, let me tell you something, my friend. This Love Entrepreneurs group, and we'll talk about it. Stick with me. You'll hear about it again. This Love Entrepreneurs group is the space you want to find yourself in. I promise you. Trust me on that. If you trust me on that. So listen, we got Rajeev Gupta in the house. I'm not even going to attempt to introduce this guy. He is incredible. Okay, let's just start there. He is a wealth of knowledge in several different industries, from healthcare all the way to digital marketing. So you're going to want to hear what this guy has to say. So without further ado, let me bring on my friend, Dr. Rajeev Gupta. Dr. Gupta, thank you for being here.
Can you guys see
You,
me?
friend.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We can definitely hear
Fantastic.
you.
Thank you very much, Oliver. It's amazing to have come on your show, which I have heard so much good about. And I know you for quite a long time now. You are an amazing person. And it is great to be really having that discussion or conversation for next whatever half an hour, 45 minutes, or perhaps longer. And I would really want to share what you have to ask for, but also all to share my journey and also feel that more you give, more come back to you. So all the experience I'm going to share is going to be quite useful for a proportion of people. Not everything is for everybody, and I beg my apology, but in advance. Um, so just to say that I'm an entrepreneur and I'm an author, I'm a motivational speaker, a digital marketer, and a doctor. So I started my life as a medically qualified doctor. I did my training, healing people, dealing people, and curing people for many, almost like 30 years of life. And then I realized that, yeah, it's a great thing. You help people, you mend people, you give them life in many occasions because when they come and they have almost come in a critical stage of life, you give that. But there is a sector of people which is much bigger segment who you are not doing anything about. So in this big world, there are millions and millions of people. And in my own life, which average I'm thinking whatever average life, 60, 70, 80, 100, 120, whatever it is, you can only deal with few thousand people. So
Mm,
even if you have changed life of that degree of people, that is few thousand people.
wow.
On the other hand, if you can do the things and change the whole landscape and metamorphosis, you can do it for millions of people. There are more than 550,000 businesses start every month in this world, and 90% of them try to jump on marketing online or digital marketing, and almost 95% fail to achieve the object in terms of the impression, in terms of the engagement, and in terms of the revenue generation. And you can imagine that if 95% of your pipeline is leaking, you won't be happy. And this is the whole purpose that we have set up whole digital training academy, and we are focusing not only just on the social media marketing, which is one of the main string, but the whole digital automation. And we have set up super chatbot digital automation, which is the landscape to change the automation. And I have written an article. I don't know if you had a chance to see on the LinkedIn just a few days ago, which is the digital landscape
Hmm.
of future.
Yep.
And that tells you how everything is changing at such a fast rate
Hmm.
that if you're not keeping the pace, you are going to be left behind. I don't know how many of you remember the days previous to internet. It was taking weeks for a letter to arrive, say for example from India to UK, and within UK they say yes, it will go, or it's going from here to some other country. It is connected days, weeks. But now with your email, which is part of digital marketing, it reaches in microseconds. Click, it reaches there. And if we can just automate it, it doesn't really need your manpower or your effort every single time. So the things are changing, and now the email marketing has started long ago. You must have started with all tick 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 or tin 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 or whatever the digital dial tone when the Ethernet or the primary internet started, and now that's broadband. So that's 45 megabyte per second. That has gone now to 100 megabyte per second,
Hmm.
and I have ordered a new one just few days ago, which will be installed on 27th of July, and that is 1000 megabit per second.
Now let me pause you for a second, right? Because you already just dove into the soup and nuts and bolts, right? Let me take you back for a second, because I want the folk to hear your story. It's very inspirational. Talk about just the journey, because you have been in several spaces, right? We're talking about the digital marketing space today more so, but you're in healthcare, you're in a number of other industries. Talk about your journey. What fueled this passion in you to just put yourself in so many arenas, and to actually not just be in those arenas, but actually really immerse yourself to become subject matter expert in these arenas. What was the journey like? What motivated Rajiv to be who you are today?
It's a very, very interesting and a thought provoking question for me. Um, and I have a few times gone into that question about what I am doing and what I am doing as a reflection. Um, to answer your question, when I was a little kid, I have heard, and I'll if please forgive me if I narrate it in Hindi, which is my mother language first, and then I will translate.
Okay.
जिंदगी एक खेल का मैदान है यारो, जिंदगी एक खेल का मैदान है यारो, मजा तो तब है कि हर खेल में बाजी मारो. And what it means is life is a game field. So the life is a game field, and the joy will come only if you go and win in every game field. So
Mm,
there are several parts of life you know and I know, and we play these, and majority of us are dominant or successful in one. But imagine that these are all pillars, and you have one pillar which is strong, the other pillar is weaker. You won't be able to have anything balanced. The joy comes if you can stand up and tight and really with head high, saying that I have won all the game fields.
wow. That's a challenge, Rajiv. Like you're challenging me and those who were listening to essentially be be good in as many things as possible, is kind of what I'm hearing you say, which sometimes goes against what we're taught, right? We're taught we grab one thing, we hold on to it, we take it, we rocket it to the moon. What you're saying is that there are several different areas that allow you to be balanced. If using the analogy that you gave with pillars, right? If one pillar is 10 feet tall and the other pillar is 50 feet tall, you can't lay something on there evenly. So what you're saying is that there's an opportunity for us to grow ourselves in a way that allows us to be well balanced, well versed, well read in several different areas.
I think, yeah, absolutely. I just want to clarify, standing well on one pillar is good enough.
Okay.
So there is no discount or disregard for people who have good in one field. You need to be good in one field. But imagine the ultimate joy when you can spread your feet far apart and then say, I'm a winner.
Wow. That's inspirational for me. That's something that I personally take to heart. I appreciate that because that speaks into because you know me, right? So you know that I'm in the relationship building space and men's self development as it relates to the book that I read. But you also know, being part of Love Entrepreneurs, that there's a video component and there's a editing component and there's a voiceover component and different things, right? And sometimes I wonder, am I stretching? And maybe I am, but the inspiration I'm getting from you is that uh, there can be some joy found in me standing on that pillar, which is the relationship building space, which I am great at, if I do say so myself. I'm not saying that from a place of arrogance. I'm just really good at it. But also finding joy in building in those other areas. So I appreciate that. That's inspirational for me. Thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. So you need to solidify as you have done in relationship space. You have built it to extent where people know Oliver for relationship. They come to you all the time. And that is where you have achieved a big success. The question is how tall you can go on one pillar. Because longer you go with wind, it starts swinging.
Mm,
So you
wow.
need
Okay.
so you need to build another pillar and then build on it, build on it, build on it, build on it. And you know that perfection is the key. So you have
Mm,
perfection, you have passion, you have perseverance. It will build the second pillar. Then you are much more comfortable when you have two pillars. And then you can
that,
have
that's
more.
good.
And then,
Wow, that's good. You got a lot of folk in the comments, man. Great analogy I'm seeing from Rob Howes. Georgia said we all have so much more to show and give. Sarah said, love this, the winning balance. It speaks to her and her passion for the art of winning. So, man, you're saying something. You're speaking some life in into us in the way that we do things, man. So let's fast forward, right? So you see we see where the passion comes from and just how you were taught and encouraged to win in all of these game fields, right? So now we're gonna try to narrow it down because you do so much. Those of you who are not familiar with Rajiv, make sure you are connected with him on LinkedIn, and we'll talk about how you can connect a little later. But we're gonna narrow it down to the digital space, right? Business automation, digital marketing automation space. Um, what caused you to move into that game field in particular? What was attractive about that caused you to dive into that?
so particularly talking of that, my son has done a degree in computer engineering from University of Edinburgh with particular like specialty of artificial intelligence.
Hmm.
And that actually has been quite intriguing subject for me. So I have read more about it. And incidentally, the same day as we organized a conference where a professor of AI has come. This was a conference we organized in Brighton, and he talked about the use of AI in medicine. And then he talked about how it can be applied and how there is ethical issues, difficulties, problems, and we talked about his journey. And then I met on the same evening with a business person who said that I'm trying to split myself into four different aspects of the business. I'm trying to do this part of the business, which was personal facing, talking to the people, going to the network, attending meetings. And the same time, I'm trying to do the work on the accounts in the evening. And then also want to do this social media because I want to be seen to be present there, and I also wanted so that all leads are followed up. So giving the follow up emails, phone calls, and whatever. And then I was thinking that yes, it's there, and real life is that everybody wants to do it. How many people are successful in doing it? And having been exposed to business in some other aspects, which we are not perhaps going to touch today, I have realized that yes, there are problems, and although I had some staff dealing with it, this person hasn't got. So, what if we can do the business automation so that a lot of this, not all, a good part can be done by him not being there, and technology is there? You have heard about so many things that can be done by humanoid approach, and internet is one part. Why can't we do it? So around 6 years ago, this whole digital marketing sparked into my life, and that actually has given me the first output, which took a couple of years, in form of what we call as the digital sales assistant or human model of sales assistant, which wears clothes like you and me, could be green, white, yellow, purple, depending on your branding, speaks and delivers your sales pitch to every visitor coming to your website,
Hmm. So we're looking at
telling
so we're looking
telling
at
your
essentially the
USP.
okay. So we're essentially looking at the bot space. I know I'm kind of simplifying it a little, but that essentially we're looking at the bot space. So what why so for those who are not all the way familiar with digital marketing and why this is important to the success of their business, long term, talk about the advantages of being in this space and making sure that you are adding some level of a digital marketing component to your business. Why is that important?
So, just for those people who are in business, because I know there could be a mixed audience, people who are in the business, people who are entrepreneur, people who want to be entrepreneur, or people who have been entrepreneur and have uh, been successful, sold their company, whatever. But right from the beginning, people who are in the space of business at this point in time, I'm going to address that part first. That you have, I mean, one thing which COVID-19 has taught us is that you have to have online presence.
Hmm.
There were businesses before retail, and there was no possibility. So everybody must have a website. So that's like a shopping window. Now, a customer is passing by your shopping window. You need to have something interesting and attractive right in the window to get that customer into your shop. If you haven't got it, you have lost it.
Mm.
Just to tell you, the statistics from Google and uh, other software companies have shown that 95%, it's probably somewhere, yeah, between 93 and 95% of the visitors, when they visit the website, they leave the website within 3 to 5 seconds. So
Okay.
somewhere between 93 and 95% of the website visitors leave the website within 5 seconds of being there. They click off. And imagine people spend a lot of money in making websites, then they spend money on SEO to have high ranking, or spend even money on pay per click PPC to get the visitors.
Hmm.
And what happens when they come to website, within 3 seconds they lose the attention span, because that's the shortest people have got now. The attention span is becoming shorter and shorter. They go, if somebody doesn't tell exactly that Yeah, we have got exactly what you need. And I think it is responsibility of the entrepreneur or business owner to serve that customer who has come into their shop. So the person have come to you, you have to tell your USP to that person immediately in the best possible way and in all three possible way: audio, visual, and virtual. That should be delivered to that.
Okay. I like the analogy too, because coming into the store, if you're going into a brick and mortar space, right, there has to be something that's going to bring you in there, right? And so many of us have done window shopping in the past, or we're walking through the mall and we see something that catches our eye that's close to the front that draws us in. So same concept you're saying should apply to those of us who have websites, that there should be something that draws us in and keeps us there. Okay.
Absolutely. And just to take it further, that most of us have gone to airport. When you go, once you do the security, you go into your boarding gate. Through this, you pass through these malls with perfume shop and Minnesota shop. What do they do? Do they let you go? they, they come and tell you this is the perfume. Try it
Right.
here and there. So and it does make difference. Many of us may pass without, but a good proportion of us think, let me have a look. And if that matches your need, click, you buy. And that's exactly is that this sales assistant is delivering the pitch. And if the person is right, and that's again going back to that, if you have done your marketing right, the
Hmm.
customer who is a potential client will come to check whether you deliver what they need. And if you match that expectation, they're going to enter and engage.
So keeping that in mind, right? For the person who's just starting out in this space, doesn't really know much about the digital marketing space, doesn't really know much about what automation is, but they know that they want that effect. They want somebody to come to the site, be engaged enough to stick around. What's the first thing that they should be looking at incorporating into? Let's look at it from a website perspective. What's the first thing that you would suggest they begin to incorporate into the site to start getting that same type of engagement that you're talking about?
So I'm not biased. I'm just saying that this digital sales assistant is a good technique. It's available.
Okay.
So just install it. You don't need to do anything more. For example, you tell us what you need. We prepare the whole digital sales assistant on the back end, prepare the whole code. You just need to tell your web designer to install this 5-line code onto the header, and then you will find it singing, dancing, all. You can have your own voice, your own actual elevator pitch or USP that would be delivered, or you can have male, female, we create it for you, whatever. This is just one part because it could need to match your branding and it needs to be delivered right from there. But you need to also have the next step ready because this is bringing your customer into the shop. What product have you got?
Okay.
And in what shape you should be delivering it. So if you want the customer or the client to enter, and first step might be simply to sign a newsletter or give your email address or a phone number. So in a polite way, this person can speak and ask for that, or even on the intent to exit, which is clicking the cross. It says, "Oh, wait here. I have got a 50 pound or $50 coupon for you." So keep retention because the key is bring the customer in and keep it in.
I like that. Let me ask you a question just based on Helen Macy's comment. Shout out to Helen Macy, my friend. Thank you for being here. Helen said identifying your audience is critical in order to dress your window properly to attract them. So we won't attract everyone, but we want to market to the audience we want to keep. So just real briefly, because I know this is an area of your expertise as well. what should we be doing in the way of identifying our audience? Because we want the folk who see, obviously, who see what they see in the window to actually be the people who will come in and get it. You don't want them to be like me. Like, quite often I get caught up in those airports as well, and I get sucked into the place, but I don't have no intention of doing anything there, right? So I'm not actually the right audience. So how do we go about identifying that, if you want to talk to that briefly?
So it's a very, very good question. And in fact, very vital question. As a marketer, you need to know what the audience is. And quite often I ask when businesses engage me that, can you do us, I mean, that this was real case 2 weeks ago. This says that I want you to do the whole digital marketing for us. Then I ask, okay, what you have done so far? And out of the all question, the first question was, do you know who your audience is?
Mm-hmm.
He says, oh, I don't know. So there are three important ways to identify your audience. The first one is knowing the existing clients, because just segment the clients, who they belong to, what are they. So, for example, if you have a business of gymnastics, it's going to be very different audience than if you are selling, say, for example, video cameras. The question is within the video cameras, you need to identify who are the people who are looking for change, so innovation. If you've got new models of camera coming out, your main audience is innovators, the guys who are early adopters, people who want to really jump on. And if you go on to, for example, Facebook groups, you can find people who are really ready to jump.
Mm. Okay.
So you need to identify. Second is the audience from your network marketing. You go to the network, you will know who are the people who are looking for what, and you will need to know. Okay, these are the audience. Now I can give them, instead of giving a handmade visiting card, you can give your website address or your LinkedIn address, which a lot of people do. But there needs to be a magnet there, because if there's no magnet, iron is not going to stick.
I like that. That's good. And listen, I there's so much I want to ask you, but we don't have the time to do it. There's so much I want to ask you. We might have to do a part two and bring you back for another episode. But listen, I want to say this for those who are looking at the digital marketing space, even if that's not your area, but you know that whatever your industry is, you need to have that. You need to incorporate that because you need to understand and identify your audience. You need to create something that is going to hook them, so to speak, and you need to have something in place that's going to keep them once they get there. Listen, you got to get around folk who can give you this level of knowledge. And a great place to get that is Love Entrepreneurs. Obviously, I'm going to say that because Love Entrepreneurs sponsors this, right? Love Entrepreneurs is a fellowship of business professionals, entrepreneurs, and the like, who are just, their main goal is to help ordinary people build extraordinary businesses. And there's something that we use to do that, and it's called the Big Fix. And Rajeev, Dr. Rajeev, you went through this, and I want to talk about your experience with this in just a few minutes. But the Big Fix is essentially an opportunity for you to now sit in the hot seat, so to speak. Sit in the hot seat and share your journey up until this point. Share your vision for where you want to go. Share any pain points or challenges that you might be experiencing, and then the group will literally rally around you and pour into you just a plethora of ideas and suggestions and action items that you can then take and implement. You can get coaching through the group to implement those if need be. And it is a great experience. And I know that you went through that. I went through it as well. And I want to talk about your experience, but we'll talk about it in just one moment. I just want to share my friend Gareth Wax, just a short commercial, if you will. My friend Gareth Wax is going to talk about his experience with the Big Fix. And then after that, Rajiv will come back and talk about that a little bit. All right. Sounds good?
Yep, great.
All right. We'll be back in just one moment.
Hello, my name is Gareth Wax. and I'm very pleased to be associated with Love Entrepreneurs. My company, Many Purple Hats, which provides LinkedIn support and promotional support for many businesses, is working very closely with Love Entrepreneurs. And most importantly of all, I attended the Big Fix for another one of my businesses, which is Purple Bot. Now, Purple Bot is about chatbots, and I got some amazing tips and tricks out of that. And the final report has actually enabled me to change direction, so I think I can be much more successful. So I recommend to everyone attend Love Entrepreneurs, and if you can, do the Big Fix.
That was my friend Gareth Wax talking about his experience with the Big Fix. What I love about that experience is this, and I'll share a little bit about myself, and Dr. Rasheed, I want you to share yours as well. What I loved about it is that when I sat down in the hot seat, I did it for 2 days. Matter of fact, I did it for 3 days. If you count last week, we did sort of a live version of it. For those of you who have never experienced it, you can go look at my LinkedIn to catch that. But what I loved about it is that I walked away with new insight, because often when I'm sitting here at this desk and it's just me by myself and I'm in my head, yes, there are great things that are happening in my head, but it's not the full picture often. And so to hear from a Dr. Rajiv, to hear from a Sarah Mills, to hear from a Gareth Wax, to hear from an Illyri Coslet, to hear from Elisa Brown, to hear from a Juan Lee, and all of these different individuals that are just pouring and pouring and pouring and pouring, almost like drinking from a fire hose, all of the things that I never even thought about. Wow, that would make sense. Yeah, I should try that. Yes, I do need this digital marketing piece. Yes, I do need this automation. And it's a wonderful experience. And don't worry about drinking from the fire hose, because afterward, you get a comprehensive report of everything that was discussed, everything that was shared, that you can then go and implement. So, Dr. Rajiv, I know you went through this a while back. Just talk about your experience and how beneficial that might have been for you.
So yeah, I think the Love Entrepreneur is a platform for giving a feedback to the entrepreneurs who are in their journey, whether it's early, late, or a new launch of the product. And it was quite useful, although my view was that every business, and that's what a majority of marketers say, that digital marketing is a must, whether it's a small business, micro business, or big business. Now, big businesses spend 20, 30, 60, 80 millions every month, but I am not catering to them at this point in time. So, how do I pitch to people who have a small or medium business? Not let's park medium business, small businesses. My view was they have to, or they must have it, because without this they can't survive. It was more eye opening when I went to Big Fix that their version of thinking was very different. People were thinking that yes, we are putting into the Facebook, we are posting, we are getting some likes, we are doing this, it's fine. I'm on LinkedIn, so that's digital marketing. So it was eye opening for me to really learn what people mean by it. It was a different definition. And I learned that I need to change the way I approach the businesses.
Mm,
Because I quite often go and talk how this is useful. And we were talking, I think, was it yesterday or the day before yesterday, that we need to whet the appetite of the customer first.
hmm
So just to explain what does it do before launching into how to solve the problem. And it
mm,
was quite useful for me because the people giving feedback, some of them actually understood it with a old, like, version of chatbot, which is like sit on the corner um, of the website and just click some dots come, and they were not able to understand how is it different from the ultra modern singing dancing ones. So it was quite nice to really understand that these are miles apart things, because we are always leaping forward. So we are far ahead. And I spend a lot of time and a lot of money on understanding the cutting edge technology
Hmm.
so as to be implement, because we need to be ahead of the game. As like in my own field, if you're not ahead of the game, you're left out.
Yeah.
So this is what we do, and that was quite good for me. Also, it was good to get feedback on how to change the approach and how there is scope to build more products, because that was our initial product, and then we came with social pal, which is the other product. And people were saying that there is a need for it, so instead of calling it like social media automation, just call something simple, easy to remember: social pal.
Hmm.
So Super Chat Pal is the digital sales assistant. Social Pal is the social media automation. So it goes and populates into all your social media, your Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Pinterest, blog, Google My Business. So that is there. And when I came back, then we started doing work on it, as a result of which Social Pal was born.
Wow. So you walked away with another extension of the business. You walked away from the big fix actually seeing another extension of the business being birthed. That is outstanding. And here's let me say this. This is not just for people who are just starting on their entrepreneurial journey, right? Dr. Rajiv is this is something he does and has done for a while. And you see that he came away with something brand new out of this experience. I just sat in a big fix recently with a gentleman who has been in business for 20 years. And out of that experience, he walked away with some brand new ideas, some a brand new vision, if you will, for how this thing can pivot because he was looking for what is the thing that's going to get me up into that next space. Yes, I've been doing it for this amount of time, but I'm looking for a way to move the needle in some areas, and he got that from the big fix. And there's folk in the comments talking about it. Excellent expansion. Brainstorming is phenomenal. Brainstorming at its best, Georgia said. So listen, if you want to be a part of this, very simply, you can reach out to anybody that you see in the comments, or you can reach out to myself. So there's Lisa Brown. Let me call out some folk that are in the comments. Lisa Brown, Sarah Mills is in the comments. Crazy David is in the comments. You can reach out to Rob House. He's in the comments as well. You can reach out to me. Follow me on LinkedIn. If you're watching this on LinkedIn, follow me on LinkedIn. If you're watching this everywhere else, you can send me a DM on Facebook or on YouTube, and we will get you in there. Listen, if you don't want to be in the hot seat right away, that's fine. Come join the process, be a part of the group of individuals that will pour into whoever's in the hot seat, and you can contribute that way. And then when it's your turn, when you're ready, it'll be your turn to get all of that poured into you as well. So that is the big fix. That is a Love Entrepreneurs sponsored event. Love Entrepreneurs, for those of you who are not familiar with it, is a group of like-minded professionals, business fellowship of individuals that their sole purpose is to help ordinary people build extraordinary businesses. You can find out more about them at love-entrepreneurs.com. Reach out to me if you want to be a part of the big fix. I know I just recently hooked up Kay with Leary, and if you want to have those connections, I can do that for you as well so that you can be a part of this and experience the big fix. Listen, Dr. Rajiv, this has been a phenomenal time that we've spent together. I want folk to, I want you to tell folk how they can connect with you. But first, I got an ask. One ask. Can you give one piece of advice for the person who is looking to move their business to the next level. They want to move the needle in their business. They're not sure how to do that. Can you give them a brief piece of advice that will encourage them to keep going in this life of an entrepreneur?
So important is that they need to sit and spend 1 hour with themselves
Mm,
and write why they would want to do it.
okay.
They need to be very clear about why. If why is clear, how will appear.
Wow. Say that one more time.
So if
We might have to write this.
why is clear, how will appear. If they want to do it, why they want to do it, they need to find how much passion they have, because for doing the business or moving into next direction or to grow, they need passion, they need persistence, and they need perfection. So these three things are very important in order to do a good business. They want to start business or they want to grow business, they need to have these three things, and they need to start thinking why. If why is there, how will appear. If they know why they want to do it, 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 they need to think over and over and over again. Once the why is clear, how will appear.
That's a mic drop moment. There it is. Listen, that's if you're on Twitter, if you're on what's the new one Meta just came out with? Threads. That's a thread right there. That's a tweet. If the why is clear, how will appear. That is incredible. Write the why, every detail passionately, and it will manifest with persistence. Thank you so much, Dr. Rajiv, for that. Listen, how can we get in touch with you?
So you can follow me on LinkedIn. It's Rajiv 2000 in the LinkedIn, or you can send me email if you want, Rajiv at superchatpal.com. That is super super chatpl, as it's appeared on this banner in front of us under my name. Superchatpal.com is the website, and Rajiv at superchatpal.com. If you send that, that would reach me. Or we have got the other one where we are teaching people how to do that digital marketing. We do classes on them, but also learning is a journey, and we take them through the journey onto the digital solutions.guru. So that's guru in Hindi, or is a teacher. And I don't know, guru has appeared in the English language as well. So that's where this is digitalsolutions.guru. So if you send email to Rajiv at digitalsolutions.guru, then we can connect, and then we can help you build your business in the direction you want to go in the digital space at least. I'm a professional coach as well. I do executive and corporate coaching. So plenty of that experience, as well as the business coaching. So if you need any help going from where you are to where you want to go, you can take that journey. If you don't know where you want to go, unfortunately, I'm not the right person for you. And I think it will be really good. It looks like a very good set of audience. You've got Oliver. You're a fantastic person. You are a magnet in yourself, attracting people, the right-minded people. We can make this planet Earth very different than we came in, and
Indeed.
that is our responsibility. And the same is the business world. The digital world is advancing so fast that unless you are trying to catch up fast, you will be left behind, and nobody will know who you are. It will be extinct. You might have three friends who will continue to buy or get and subscribe to you or continue to do business, but majority will move because your business need to be quicker, faster, and cheaper.
Wow. There it is, folks. There you have it. And listen, Dr. Rajiv, you already know you and I have a conversation coming up later today. So I'm looking forward to that because you're right. We need to be in this space. We need to collaborate. That's what I love about the Love Entrepreneurs space. that there is room for collaboration. There are people who want to collaborate. There are people who want to be there for each other. There are people who want to see you grow, succeed, and thrive. And so that is fantastic. Listen, Dr. Rajeev, I'm gonna send you back into the green room, so to speak. Please don't leave. I'm just gonna wrap up the show. I want to talk to you briefly when this is over. But thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for being a part of this and for the wisdom that you have shared with us today. I'll be talking to you in just one moment. Okay. Thanks again.
Thank you so much.
Listen, so there you have it. A wealth of knowledge. There's so many folk that were in the comments. Well said, Dr. Rajiv. Great quote. Rajeev Gupta, absolute legend. Lisa Brown says we were responsible for each other. Yes, we are indeed. Rajeev, you are awesome. Thank you for your knowledge and time. Everybody's in the comments thanking Rajeev. That is phenomenal. Thank you both for sharing the gems. Georgia says, Chris Lyons, thank you. Kay, thank you, Oliver. Keep being awesome. I appreciate that. I will do my best. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Sarah Mills is in the comments as well. Thank you, Oliver and Rajeev. Priceless moments. Listen, all I'm gonna say, normally I would say something at the end. But I'm gonna say what Dr. Gupta said. Great information. Greg said as well. Thank you, Gregory, for that. Here, listen, you got to be clear on the why. The stuff that I talked about in the beginning about getting a mentor and about being persistent, those are they come on the heels of you actually knowing the why. That's part of the how. And Dr. Rajiv said that if the why is clear, the how will appear. Listen, that's all that needs to really be said as it relates to the life of an entrepreneur. Thank you, Helen. Keep up the good work, she says. Thank you for being a part of this. All of you that were in the comments, I might miss some names: Gregory and Helen and Sarah and Kay and Chris and Georgia and Juan and so many others that I might have missed. Lisa was in the comments, Crazy David as well, and so many others. Rob Howes was in the comments. Thank you so much for making this what it is, because it can't be this without you. So thank you so much. Those of you that are looking for the entrepreneurial space, this is a great space for you to be in. Lisa Brown says, thank you. Great talk. Appreciate that. If you're looking for a community of individuals to be a part of, you want to be a part of Love Entrepreneurs. I'm going to say this one more time before I go. It is a group of professionals that have been created, have been put in place on this earth to serve for the greater good of humanity, to help ordinary people build extraordinary businesses. Reach out to me if you want to experience that in any way, shape, or form. Georgia says, top show. Thanks to Sarah for the intro. And to you, Oliver. Thank you, Georgia, for being a part of that. I will, after this, go and make sure that I connect with you on LinkedIn as well. So listen, it's the life of an entrepreneur. It's a journey. You want to get around folk who are on the journey with you. You want to get around folk who are a little bit further down the journey than you are. You want to get around folk who are willing to pour into you and give you the opportunity to pour into them as well. Because that's the life of an entrepreneur. And with that, listen, thank you folks for being here. We'll see you next week.